Hello everybody and welcome back to how to do IELTS Task 2 for general and academic IELTS papers. This is part 3 of a 4-part video series. In video 1 we covered basic information about this part of the IELTS test. In video 2 we looked at different question types that you might get and the different structures that you could use for those question types. And today we're looking at exactly how your IELTS essays are marked. Also, in the next video we'll be looking at the different stages of writing, which is really valuable as well. But today we're focusing on how your essays are marked. So, why is it useful to know how your IELTS essays are marked? Well, first, it means that you can give the examiners exactly what they want to see. For example, if you're doing a maths exam, often the examiners will want to see your working out, to see how you've actually done the question, because often you'll get marks for that. Also, for example, if you're doing a history essay for A-level history, you might be required to quote from different sources. These are all things you do because you know that that's what the examiners want to see. So this gives you a really positive advantage in getting a higher score. Secondly, if you know what the examiners want to see, you can work out what aspect or part of your writing it is that you need to improve for the examiners. We've already talked about essay structure in the last video. It may be that now you're aware that you need to improve your essay structures and you can therefore do that. So, once you know what you need to improve, you can then focus on improving that aspect or part of your writing. And that's really crucial to getting better. If you just keep on doing the same things over and over again, then clearly it's not always the best idea if you're getting the same band score over and over again. Fourthly, it stops you from wasting time doing the wrong things. I've known some students who thought that they needed to show off lots of different tenses and that they needed to use lots of different conditional sentences. So they would try and put them into their essays. This then read very unnaturally, and although they thought they were doing the right thing, they actually weren't. And finally, once you know exactly what the examiners want, you can actually quite rapidly improve your band score for your IELTS essays. This is quite a neat trick because to actually improve your English, normally it takes months, but you can improve your exam technique overnight. So this is something really cool that you should focus on. So, what exactly are examiners looking for then? And how does anybody know? Well, fortunately, the British Council, who part own the IELTS exam, have published this table here that you can see. It's simply called the IELTS Task 2 Writing Band Descriptors Public Version. So anybody can see this. You can find it yourself by Googling that title there, and you'll find it. So, what exactly are we looking at? Well, as you can see on the left side of the chart, you've got the different bands. 9 being the top, and then 8, 7, 6 going down. And across the top, we've got 4 different categories: task achievement, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and grammatical range and accuracy. These are the different areas that the examiners think about when they're marking your essay. And inside each box there is a description of what an essay will look like at each different level for those different areas. This gives us a really good guide as to what your essay should be doing to score highly in each of those different areas. Obviously, once the examiners have looked at each area of your essay, they'll be able to work out your band score. So it's really important that we score as high as we can for each of these areas. Now we're going to look at each of those areas and work out exactly what it is that the examiners are looking for. The first area we're looking at is task achievement. And task achievement basically means, have you answered the question properly? That's all it means. Have you answered the question properly? In the Band 9 description there, you'll see in red it says, fully addresses all parts of the task. From my last videos, you'll know that there are different types of questions, 3 main types. There's a question type where you have to discuss both sides of an argument. Now, if you only discuss one side of that argument, you haven't fully addressed all parts of the task, so you lose marks. If you're doing the give an opinion and justify it question, and you get so excited giving your opinion, but you forget to justify it and say why, then again, you're not addressing all parts of the task. So you lose, you go down the band score. And if you're doing a problem solution essay and you spend all your time describing the problem and not really offering any solutions, then again, you're not addressing all parts of the task, so you lose marks. Students don't realise this and they think they've done really well, but they get low band scores because they haven't done this. It's also another reason why you should make sure you don't go off topic and start talking about related things. Everything you write should be specific for a reason, exactly about the question you've been asked. Otherwise, you could drop down to a band 5 for task achievement. You can see there in red, in the band 6, I've circled addresses all parts of the task, although some parts may be more fully covered than others. So that's band 6, you still have to address all parts of the task. If you don't, then you're dropping down to a 5. That's not what we want. The second thing you need to do to make sure you answer a question properly is to create a developed response. You can see there in band 9 it says present a fully developed position in answer to the question with relevant, fully extended and well supported ideas. That simply means that you need to support your ideas, support your main points with relevant or specific evidence, experience, could be your own experiences, examples and explanations. If you're just writing a series of different points, then you're not expanding on each of those points. You're not developing those points. This is going to seriously affect your band score. So, if you're inadequately developing your points, you can see in the green box in the band level 6 is where you're getting to. This is often where students struggle. They need to develop their points more by giving evidence, explaining their experiences, giving examples, and more explanation. The next area that we need to look at is that of coherence and cohesion. This simply means, does your essay flow naturally? Now, what does that mean? How does an essay flow naturally? Well, an essay flows naturally when it's written in the way that an educated native writer of that language would write it. And all native speakers of English that are educated would write it using a structure similar to the ones that I showed you in the last videos. This means that your essays will be logically organized in a correct logical structure and your ideas will flow. When an essay is written in this manner, nobody reads it and reads the first paragraph and thinks, that's something not quite right there. They haven't introduced something. Or they get to the second paragraph and it's starting to summarize the main points, or doing something else that doesn't seem to quite fit. If you use a logical structure, then the reader doesn't actually notice the structure. It's just there. It's not odd. It doesn't feel or sound odd when you read it. That's what we're aiming for. Part of this, of course, is writing in paragraphs and putting them in the correct order. Now, you must write in paragraphs. That's the only solid rule I'm going to give you. You must write in paragraphs. And each paragraph should contain one main point with supporting evidence or explanations. Now, also, paragraph linking is important. You could use something along the lines of topic sentences that work well together in pairs. For example, I might start a paragraph by saying, many people are of the belief that, etc., etc. And then the following paragraph might contrast that, starting with the topic sentence. On the other hand, there's also a body of movement that says, etc., etc. Those two topic sentences work well in a pair because the second topic sentence acknowledges or shows that it's giving an opinion that is in contrast to the first. That is paragraph linking. That shows that a paragraph is following on naturally from the previous paragraph. Next, you can see in the green box there that it says for band 7, uses a range of cohesive devices appropriately, although there may be some under or overuse. So a cohesive device is basically linking words. You're probably familiar with words like therefore, even though, although, however. It's those type of words that link together ideas normally within a paragraph. Now, all they're saying is use different ones. Don't keep using and also, and also, and also, or however, also, however. You see that a lot in some students' writing. You need to use a range of those in the right way. So make sure you're familiar with and know the difference between some of those types of words. If you are using the same words or they don't quite fit correctly, that's what it means in the band 6 there, where it says sentences may be faulty or mechanical. So you're limiting yourself to a band 6 if that describes your writing. Finally, you can see in the band 6 box there that it says uses referencing clearly. Basically, you need to be careful when you're using words like it, they, he, she. It needs to be clear who you're talking about. So if you use the word it, are you referring to the government from earlier in the essay, or to people that oppose the government, or whoever it might be? But it needs to be clear. That's what referencing is. If it's not clear, the reader gets lost in your essay, and that obviously reduces your band score. Now don't worry, there's lots more on my website, and I've given you a link there. I'll also put this link under the video as well, so you can go to it and have a look after. That goes into this in a bit more detail. Okay, the next area that we need to look at is that of lexical resource. Now, lexical resource is simply a fancy way of saying vocabulary. So, can you use a range of vocabulary effectively, or do you not know many words and how to use them? So, in the band 9 there, it simply says, uses a wide range of vocabulary with very natural and sophisticated control of lexical features. Let's look at the first part. Uses a wide range of vocabulary. And we'll do this with an example. So, this is a paragraph taken out of an essay about the environment. Let's read it first. I think that our world, the way that it is now, is in real danger. The best scientists think that our world will run out of oil by 2020. This will stop us living the way we do now. Some governments are paying scientists to fix this problem. Okay, so there's nothing massively wrong with the vocabulary here, but let's analyze it and see if we can make it a bit better. So we know that we need to use a wide range of vocabulary. So first of all, I notice that we've got the word world twice. Now, do you know any other words for world? Maybe planet, globe, the place we live in, the land. Using different words rather than just using world helps us show a range of vocabulary. So that's something to think about. What about the next one? Real danger. Can we think of anything better than real danger? Well, doomed would be an appropriate one. How about the best scientists? Can you think of anything for that? And then we've got our world again. And in the last sentence, we've got to fix this problem, to fix this. Does fix really sound very academic? I'm not sure. In a moment, I'll show you a much better way of saying these words. So, just remember, you need to try and use a range of vocabulary. Next, in green, for the band 9 descriptor, it says sophisticated. This sort of means, is it written in a higher level, more educated way of writing? So, we've got phrases underlined there like the world the way that it is now. It's not wrong, but it's not very high level. This will stop us living the way we do now. Could that be said any better? Some governments are paying scientists. Not massively sophisticated. Again, I'll show you how this could be improved in a few moments. And next, circled in blue in band 8, it says inaccuracies in word choice and collocation. So the first one, let's look, it says, I think that. That's not a good word choice for an academic essay. I think that. We need to change that. Next, we've got run out of. Run out of is a phrasal verb. We use them a lot in spoken English, but we should try to avoid them in written academic English. Similarly to fix this, it's not a good choice of word. It's not wrong, it's just not a good choice of word. So, what could we change this to? If you want, you could stop the video and rewrite the paragraph, taking into account everything I've said, and see what you can come up with. Or you can wait a few seconds and let's have a look at what I think you could do. Okay, so I've changed this to, some people believe that the world we live in is doomed in its existing format. Experts predict that our planet is likely to exhaust its supplies of fossil fuels by the year 2020, severely restricting the way we currently lead our lives. Already, we can see government-backed scientists across the globe striving to discover new sustainable energy sources in a race for survival. I suggest you pause the video and just have a look at how I've changed or upgraded that paragraph. I think you'll agree that it gives a much higher level of lexical resource. And these are the sort of things you should be looking to try and do as well. Don't worry if the paragraph that I've written seems too high a level for you at the moment. Obviously, I've written that as a native speaker, trying to show you a really good example. Okay, the final area we need to look at is grammatical range and accuracy. Now, this just means, can you use a range of grammar structures accurately? So, is your grammar any good? Do your sentences make sense? A key point there in band 7 in red, it says produces frequent error-free sentences. This is one thing I obviously encourage you to try and do as much as possible. Frequent error-free sentences. However, that would be easy if you could just simply write simple sentences like the world is round, it is not flat. That's what scientists have proven. That would be really easy to write short, simple, grammatically correct sentences. However, you'll notice in green it says uses a variety of complex structures. And even in band 6 it says uses a mix of simple and complex sentence forms. So basically, you can't just write simple sentences and expect to score anything more than a 5. You've got to have some complex sentences in there. So combining both of these principles will lead you to the higher band scores of 8s and 9s. Now, it's important not to deliberately start putting in different conditional sentences or different types of tenses, because they're easy to see. It's easy to see when you've done that, and it's not natural to do that. So, how can you write complex sentences? Well, actually, it's not as difficult as you might think. Take a look at this simple structure. Example number 1, many governments around the world do not consider pollution to be a problem. Full stop. This is why they keep developing regardless. Now, that's just 2 fairly simple sentences. Now, to make that into a complex structure, all you need to do is this. Many governments around the world do not consider pollution as a problem, comma, which is why they keep developing regardless. So, all we've done is link 2 pieces of information into 1 sentence. That creates a complex structure. That's the basic, most easiest way to create a sentence that is more complex. Let's have a look at another one. Some governments are concerned about pollution. Full stop. This is why they have introduced certain regulations. And again, let's turn these 2 simple sentences into a complex structure. Some governments are concerned about pollution, which is why they have introduced certain regulations. There we go, we've turned a simple structure, 2 simple structure sentences into 1 complex structure. That's the type of thing we're looking for. There's more on my website about this, so please don't think that that's all the help I'm going to give you. There's lots more at IELTSfreeway.com. Okay, and finally, let's finish with a quick quiz. Let's see what you've remembered. So question number 1, can you remember 2 reasons why knowing how your essays are marked is useful? Pause the recording, have a quick think. Hopefully you came up with something like it allows you to give the examiners exactly what they want to see, or it helps you to focus on improving part of your writing that you know is not quite good enough, and it stops you from wasting time doing the wrong things, or that perhaps it can rapidly improve your score. Question 2, why is task achievement important? Well, basically, it's one of the areas your essay will be marked on, and you need to make sure that you fully answer all parts of the question to get a good task achievement band score. Question 3, what is the main way to give your essay coherence and cohesion? Pause and have a think if you need to. Well, basically, using the structures that I gave you in video 2 and using a variety of linking words and phrases. Question 4, true or false? You cannot repeat the same word more than once in your essay. Well, that is of course false. You can use the same word as many times as you want, but if you can use a variety of synonyms, that is likely to score you higher marks for lexical resource. Okay, well done. We've got to the end of that, and I hope you found what I've told you about today useful. This is quite a long video, so you might want to bookmark it, share it, like it, so that you can find it easily again, or that your friends can also benefit from it. And I hope to see you in video 4, which is the writing process. This shows you how you can manage your time effectively and get the highest band score in the time given. Okay, I look forward to seeing you then.